Becoming an entrepreneur in theory sounds wonderful. You have an idea, you take that idea and make it work so that you can make money. You're your own boss. Boom. Simple, right? Actually, it's not that simple. It's very hard work. Yet, it can be rewarding. But it makes me ask the question, so you want to be an entrepreneur? Why? Today, I am excited to be in Harlem with the founder and owner of Harlem Zen, Angela McTair. Before we get started talking to Angela about being an entrepreneur, I cannot let this moment pass about talking about the excellence that is in Angela McTair. So the first thing is, Angela has an incredible educational background. She earned a degree in chemical engineering from Carnegie Mellon. She followed up with an MA in chemistry from Fairleigh Dickinson. She has an MBA in marketing and strategic management from the Wharton School. And so, in addition to all of that academic excellence, Angela just celebrated 9 years in business at Harlem Zen. So, can we just take a moment and give her a round of applause? Because that is quite a feat. I've stated this stat with you before, 50% of small businesses fail in the first year. So to make it 9 years, and Harlem Zen is in 2 locations, it's in Harlem and also Atlanta, to survive the pandemic, and not only survive, but thrive. I am excited, as you can tell, to have Angela kick off the Entrepreneur Series. Angela, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm delighted to have you. So let's get started. Tell me, why did you become an entrepreneur? Because that is quite an amazing academic track that you have there.
Thank you so much. I would say becoming an entrepreneur really wasn't my initial plan. It just evolved. I think your life evolves. This is my 3rd career since undergrad, so I am really just kind of finding what works for me in different phases of my life. And each person, I would just encourage them to please be comfortable with reinventing yourself on this journey of your life, because different things work and fit at different times.
So let's talk about, you said this is your 3rd career.
This is my 3rd career.
So let's talk about career number 1, because I don't know, like, did you start your career at age 10 and then 20, and then maybe now that you're 30, you're at career number 3, but actually, wait a minute, because you've been in business for 9 years. But no, in all seriousness,
yes.
Tell us about the 1st and 2nd career and then how you pivoted here.
Well, the funny thing is that the 1st career started younger than that. It started probably around 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So.
Do tell.
Yes. Well, I always loved mixing and concocting things. That's what we called it, making concoctions. So me and my brother, we would put the soap, the little slivers that were left, and the lotion, and put it in the microwave and soap lotion.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
Gotta get with that.
Right.
Moisturizing soap, it came, right? But we did it first, back in the 70s, right?
Wow.
So basically, I think that I was just meant to play with skincare, play with product. That was always something that I loved from way back, and I could give my brother credit for that. Big ups, bro, love you, right? So in general, it's just kind of following where your interests are and building something around that. So career 1 was as a cosmetic chemist, and I worked for companies like Neutrogena, Johnson & Johnson, J&J. They had wonderful processes and engines around creating product that structured someone like me who was, let's just go in there and do stuff and blow it up and have this exciting experience. So I learned all of the rigor around creating robust products and being able to really see an outcome from what you were putting together. So I brought my passion to that, but really gained some insights that have been a blessing to me throughout the rest of my career.
Okay, and so then that then you pivoted to Harlem Zen. So tell me about Harlem. Did something happen between there? All right, so that's career 2. All right, so talk about career 2. And I love the fact, though, that you were fearless with your brother in concocting things, because that's how innovation happens. When you are not afraid to disrupt the status quo. You're not afraid to what's going to happen in this microwave. I don't know what your parents were saying, but I find that fascinating. So tell me, when you left being a cosmetic chemist, so can we say that again? Chemist, yes. When you left being that, what was next?
Well, I kind of got onto the other side of the table, because in my first career, being in a really research-driven company, it was a different goal when you're at the cross-functional team meeting, how we're going to get the product to market, who's calling the shots, and who's controlling kind of the flow of how we're going to make this go-to-market process happen. And I was there as on the research side and thinking, this would be really cool to be on the marketing side and to be able to define the product. What niche can we serve? Where are the need gaps? And I've always been in a product development role, even when I was in a marketing company. And in a marketing role, it was still, what product are we developing for this particular market versus people who are more on the media side or other parts of the business. So we called it global marketing, and my goal was to figure out, what does the Brazil need in 2025 and make a 3-year plan that's going to get us there. So it was always an exciting thing to kind of go to different markets, survey it, see what the new thing was, see what the trends were, and kind of be a part of shaping it.
I love that. So you started as a researcher, and then you went on the other side as a GTM and corporate executive. And then you decided that, to your point, there's this niche and there's this problem you want to solve. So now you're going to explore on your own how to do that. So talk to me about the pivoting to leaving, in some respects, the stability of corporate America, especially with that undergirded academic excellence that you have there, and then venturing out on your own to create what is now Harlem Zen.
Yeah, so that was the pivot to career number 3, which I am still now in. And it didn't happen on purpose again, but I found that in both corporate settings, there was a lot that restricted me, and I am, again, that person is like, let me at it. So I found that when I looked at life outside of corporate and still how to marry with my passions, the entrepreneurial path of being able to help these people that I felt there were skin concerns that were not being properly addressed. There were so many markets that were being completely ignored, because I would do the research. I conduct a research study and I see what the demographics are the people that we're surveying. So don't we want to see how people of color respond to this product? Don't we want to have more of a broad base? So there were moments in my career where I just had like head scratchers, where it's like, I would like to do that. I would like to explore this. And the companies had certain goals. They had certain tracks that they were already on, certain consumers that were kind of the primary target, and I had a different target.
All right, so talk to me about your target and Harlem Zen and the target.
Absolutely. So my goal with Harlem Zen was really to be able to provide safe and effective skincare services for people of all skin tones, because especially whenever you're talking about different markets that are utilizing advanced skincare and more of the aesthetics, if it's light-based, pigment is going to absorb differently.
Absolutely.
Than pigmented will have more of a deeper absorption And thus, whenever we're working with lasers or we're working with more advanced modalities, there can be issues. And so you have to have the right equipment for the job. And I go from a family that has a lot of skin concerns, right? And I grew up with skin concerns. They were always a challenge for me personally, that it worked on my confidence. So being able to help other people deal with their aesthetic concerns was something that it did it for me.
I love that. I love, because that's a problem, right? That's a problem, that there's this demographic that is, for lack of a better term, not seen. Right?
Yes.
Underserved is the politically correct term, but it's not seen, and it's not served, and it's ignored.
Yeah.
Right? There's no path to serving them. And so thank you, first of all, for doing that. And I know that you taking on that role does not come without some challenges. So before we get to the challenges, because I'm sure there are many, and I can see it with a sigh, let's talk about the successes. Because 9 years is no small feat. That takes a lot of resilience. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of money. I'm curious if you can share with us some of those successes, some of those bright moments when you know and you knew that this is the right path for your passion, your purpose, for that creativity within you to serve an audience that has not been served. So tell us about those successes, those good times, those cheers.
Oh, yes. Well, you mentioned surviving the pandemic, and for me, I was just amazed that we actually thrived through the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
It was a terrifying moment whenever you have to pull down your shingle and close your doors. And then when you go back a couple of months later, and there's like, people are like kicking down the door trying to get in there, like, do you see this hair? Help. So it was really exciting for me to come back to such a strong response. And a lot of things changed with labor, I think, through the pandemic. So that was something that was a little iffy. But in general, that was a huge thing for me, was that people were there, they were waiting, they were excited to get back in the chair, they wanted to get on the table. They're like, handle this for me right now, please. Yes. And that made me super happy that they trusted us. They trusted our safety, our cleanliness, and our commitment to quality service. That a lot of people said, this is the first thing I did after leaving my house.
Wow.
And that meant everything to me. Successes that really got me, when I think of like the bright moments throughout the pandemic, a lot of funding came out for businesses of color, women of color run businesses. And we won, Harlem Zen, several grants. And just to see that we were selected out of this, I can't even imagine how many people applied. That was huge for me. And I remember telling my daughter, hey, I won such and such a grant. And then we're like dancing around the house, and, having a whole moment.
I love it.
And I mean, like just seeing her get excited about it.
Yes.
And I said, baby girl, you need to learn how to write.
Right.
So, and I just seeing that, being able to impress that upon her, that if you can boil down and put your story in a compelling way that someone will actually read what you wrote and see you can get $20,000. Like these kind of things can happen. And so I saw her take note of that. And that's big for me when I feel that something that I've done in business has changed or affected how she's going to think about her life, her studies, her work going forward. Then that's a huge win for me.
I love that. I love that. And so I had the pleasure of being here for your 9-year celebration. And you are extremely humble. So I want to just say that to the audience, that you are extremely modest in terms of how great you are at your crafts. The words that resonated with me when you were talking are safe and effective. Right?
Yes.
Those are like top words, especially for people of color, that
Huge.
someone cares about the safety of the products and the services that they're
Yes.
using on us. And not only that, but they're not just trying to get us, right? It's effective, right?
Yes.
You're not going to leave here with your chinny chin chin
Oh,
hairs.
we're gonna get some
right?
results.
We are going to get results. And yesterday I saw your clients come back and sharing how proud they are. And the skin was skinning. And let's talk about your skin right now, right? If we could zoom the camera in,
No, please don't
Angela's
zoom the
skin is skinning. And so you are definitely a great entrepreneur in that respect. And so I'm so proud to see all of this come together. And I just recently met you, and I am a fan. I'm a cheerleader. And so I love the successes that you've shared about there is funding out there, but you need to be able to articulate it in a way that is compelling and that is persuasive.
Yes.
I love the impact on the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
and current generation of entrepreneurs. All these things that you gave them as tips. But again, I know that with all these successes, because I saw you being all things all the time, and never one moment did I see you lose it. Like, you maintain an incredible grace under pressure. And I know that your clients came here saying, oh my gosh, when I'm in the room with Angela, she makes me feel special. It's a ministry almost, in terms of not only providing a service and a product for them to have a better appearance and build their confidence, but that is ministry. And so,
It is.
again, we get to see all the fabulousness. We are in Harlem Zen. We get to feel Zen. And I will tell you, I'm going to stop for a second, that I walked in here last Sunday with a headache. It had nothing to do with here. As soon as I crossed the threshold, my head went away. So that's a testament to the positivity, the inspiration, the spirituality that you have in this place. So bless you. And
Thank you so
thank
much.
you for allowing me not to have to take Advil sinus. No offense to Advil sinus. But I didn't have to take any because I came in and felt at ease and calm. But all of that is the lead up into this is not easy. You make it look easy, but I know it's not. So can you share with us a few of the challenges and even maybe the failures that you may have had, if you can share a couple of those with us?
Yeah, I would say that's a whole additional show. we should probably make time for that show.
Absolutely should.
But to kind of wrap it up briefly, I think that anytime you're in a situation like this, you are reliant on other people. For someone like me, it's a real challenge to be vulnerable in that way. And I just want to thank you for the human that you are, that off of a brief introduction, you showed up and gave me everything to help us get across the finish line with this event. And that's just a huge testament to the type of individual that would even do something like that for someone that you barely know. So thank you again. I'm just speechless with thanks.
Thank you.
I would say that you learn a little bit more about yourself and your, for me, it's spiritual, my connection with the divine, that you have a vision for what you're trying to accomplish and you pray in whatever your way is and God delivers, right?
Aww.
And it is really a blessing because you never know where it's going to come from. And you might have in your mind a certain idea of, this person, they've got my back and they're always going to show up. And in entrepreneurship, that has been probably my biggest challenge, is that you have in your mind that, this is where my help is coming from. This is where my support is coming from. And when it doesn't happen, it's such a crushing disappointment that you can go, curl up in a ball and eat Cheetos, which I've done many times. Or you could get up, put your big girl drawers on,
right,
and watch Michelle float through the door to come and help you. You know, if you're up and you're there and you're present and you've got enough motivation to just stay in it a little bit, the help will show up. So I just really want to encourage people to stay in it, even when it's ugly, and it will be ugly, you know, but stay in it and know that in moments that will come for you, and just stay there. Just keep standing, stay the course. If you were given some kind of mission or some kind of anointing and assignment. And it's funny when you said skin ministry, because I use that as my password for a lot of things.
Oh, wow.
Y'all don't hack my
Oh,
computer.
wait. We're about to change that. We're about to change that. It is
We're going to have to change it now.
password.
But I mean, it's one of those things that I use to keep myself cognizant of that this is bigger than just me. And so that's how I try to keep myself in a mindset of positivity, even when everything is burning down around me, which has happened multiple times. But it's like that that poem, we were made to memorize it in school, If by Kipling, and that there's that whole line about when everything around you is broken and you have to stoop and build it up with worn out tools, you know, that's like the journey. And so you just get out your broken down tools and build it again. And so that's what's, I've seen a couple of rounds of that in these 9 years where your team will fall apart or people are being people and putting themselves and their priorities first. Things happen. Sometimes it's somebody's fault. Sometimes it's nobody's fault. It's just life is lifing. But when you're able to just kind of persevere, just keep going. You know, there's always another step. So just take the next step. That's what I would tell. Just take the next step.
I love it. I love that. And so shout out to Key from Key Aquino Show, who brought us together. And so we've talked about this. This was a divine connection.
Amen.
I was trying to connect with Key to collaborate on something. I'd asked her about an entrepreneur. She told me about a friend she had. It just so happens the weekend that Key was available to film, you were having your 9-year anniversary. We were talking. I'm like, oh, I'll help you with that. Sure. And it was so amazing. And I also want to encourage those of you that are watching, please, there are some amazing packages that are available for 1 more week. So take a look. I will be calling you. Send an email to Shellie Soapbox. We will get you together. Angela will get you together. That skin will be skinning. So don't worry about the hairs on your face, the moles, the acne. She is here to give you safe and effective treatments and products. But again, just anchoring in the fact that this is a divine connection. My passion is to see you win, because if you win, we all win, right? You hire people. I've got to meet some of your staff who are wonderful. You provide opportunities for people to be able to feed their families and learn the business themselves and grow their own skills. And so thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for staying the course. And before we end, you said that like you've gone through career 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Can we expect a career 4? And if so, are you willing to share it right now?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think life is an evolution, and you don't always know where the next thing is. But really, for me, I am evolving in my mind into a phase where I really just want to see the next generation of skincare professionals like rise up and do it right. Like, I want to see it done well. I want to see it done broadly for all skin tones. So I would love to see more of myself, less in the treatment room and more in the classroom. Nice. I really want to make sure that people get the opportunity to learn. I've learned from some amazing people. Yogi, oh my God, one of my mentors.
Hey, Yogi.
Oh, just incredible people have spent time with me to teach me, not charging me, just sharing their craft. I went to Trinidad, studied with a doctor there. He did not charge me a cent. Let me sit in the room and watch him treat his patients when I first started. And so as I have looked back over the time, at this point, I said, wow, I've trained 60 people.
Wow.
In the laser. Being able to work with people who knew something to people who didn't know how to turn the machine on.
Oh, wow.
And so it's been a real joy for me to think about how to explain something that's complicated, like laser theory, and use fun analogies to make it memorable and to kind of talk through. So this is what, when this happens and the photon comes, it's like puppies stampeding. You know, like I'll do things to help them hold it in their head. And I just really enjoy it.
That's wonderful.
And so I'm thinking about, you know, where can I have the broadest impact? And it really is making sure that if estheticians of color or service providers of color understand how to treat skin of color effectively, then people of color have a better chance of leaving without a keloid on their neck after they get the laser treatment. So it's like you go in to make something better, and then you have an adverse outcome, and then you go tell all your girlfriends, your cousins, your sisters, your sister, and then people are nervous about being able to take advantage of services that are going to be hugely beneficial, improve their quality of life. And so I feel that, you know, my work with the future generation of skincare professionals is really, that's going to be my final chapter, my best contribution to make sure that people of color have access to these services that we absolutely need and can absolutely benefit from. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about it as well. So look forward to seeing an opportunity for you to be part of the Angela McTair certification class. And so thank you so much for spending time with me. I know that this is also, I just want to share with the group that it's not lost on me that you worked a full day of servicing clients. You left your last client and came down here, allowed us to use your space. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing more of you, and I am not joking. This is a serious call to action. You need to get yourself together and reach out to me so I can connect you with Harlem Zen and some of the amazing technicians that they have here to make your quality of life better. So thank you again. And so you want to be an entrepreneur? More to come.